Started a little late this afternoon, but we'll make up on time. For some time I've been talking about lawyers in Dominica. I've been getting a lot of complaints. Some lawyers, I didn't say all lawyers, but some lawyers are living up to their responsibilities. And some poor people who do not know better find themselves being fleeced by these lawyers. But what you find a lot of times is that these legal professionals hate taking up cases against their fellow. And it says a club. So they won't fight down another lawyer. So it seems it's a club out there. They're protecting each other. And the poor people are made to suffer as a result. I just want to say it's not all lawyers. Let's just say 80%. Can I use that number? 80% of lawyers protect each other.
Wow.
Andy, would you say as much as that?
Well, if 80%, that's a significant number, Matt.
80%, so you think I'm giving them too much?
I think it's right about clear. I think if you have that percentage, you might as well call it all. I think 80% is a passing grade in school. 80% of a market is pretty much a significant portion.
80% occupancy is a good rate. A good rate.
And not only that, Matt, the problem is that you have to sift through all the lawyers to find the good ones. And the question is, what differentiates the good from the bad? That's a big question that we can ask.
So what grade would you give if you were grading them from, say, 1 to 10? What would be your grade for the lawyers in Dominica? Brutally honest.
It's very hard to say, Matt, because I haven't tried all the lawyers in Dominica. But I have to tell you, Matt, from speaking to many of the people who deal with lawyers, there has not been a very good experience over time. And I think it's clear why that is. The lawyers have no regulation. They have no regulatory body in Dominica that oversees attorneys. And that's unbelievable. Pharmacists.
But I've been hearing for some time that they're going to pass this bill, but I haven't heard
since 2016, to be accurate, that this bill has been in there. And there might be some pressure from the top not to pass.
So why the hesitation, though?
That's a good question, Matt. I think there's a lot of power on the top from a lot of the top attorneys that do business, whether it be the government or in the country's interests, CBI. These attorneys don't want laws like that passed. These attorneys are making and fleecing Dominica. They're making a killing, and they're doing things that generally cannot be done in any other country or any other place in the world, and they're enriching themselves based on the rules that they've made up.
You're saying enriching themselves?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're obviously getting rich, and I think if I was a lawyer and, you have something good going on that's bringing millions of dollars to you by not using your money or being able to use other people's money to do things, I think I would want to continue to.
It's sort of a rule, though. You keep people's money in trust.
It's not a rule. It's a law. You're supposed to keep people's money. It's a law, not a rule. It's a law. Unfortunately, the laws have not passed in Dominica as yet. Everywhere else in the Caribbean, this is how. In fact, attorneys in Dominica go to the exact same attorney school that any lawyer would go to, any legal profession you'd go to. And there's something called ethics. And I think that's a class that we might have skipped in Dominica. The ethics.
You mean the professionals?
The professional law of ethics. I think that class we skipped. So I think there's a problem with our ethical behavior when it comes to attorneys. simply because, as I said, there is no law on the books that governs the system. Therefore, the system is being taken advantage of. But not just the poor people, Matt. When you have to think about it, it's not just the people like that go do businesses with these attorneys. You have to understand, in order for these lawyers to do this, they are actually taking money from the country. So tax revenue that they would have paid to Dominica, whether it be in the portion of VAT or whether it be in the portion of personal taxes, this is a big tax evasion scheme. So these attorneys are really going about using people's money. They're actually doing tax evasion. And not only that, there's a few other financial crimes that we could probably put to it that are being done because, again, this money is being transferred, used for different schemes, used for different projects, and most of these things are being done out of Dominica in some foreign land somewhere.
You mean they're taking your money? And not talking about you generally.
They're taking the money,
right,
and they're sending overseas in investments, hoping that.
But it's not their money, Andy.
I know, and not only that, these things don't help Dominica. So I don't understand why legally our country has made this acceptable. It's incredible. I just don't understand it. I mean, this is one of the biggest. I mean, if Matt, a couple of years ago,
right,
and you can read the Panama Papers. Remember, we had a prime minister in England that got caught moving about $10,000 in the incorrect way, and he had to resign the office in England. You can look it up. I mean, they made him resign. They forced him to resign. You have to understand that money and the legality of money has rules. But in Dominica, none of these rules are enforced.
I've been in this business for many years. I never heard a lawyer being debarred, really.
Matt, because the bar has zero power in Dominica. In fact, the Bar Association in Dominica is non-existent.
There should be a powerful organization there.
The bar should be the regulatory body for any attorney or any attorney, like, for example, if you had a legal assistant in some way, or if you had a legal practice, the bar should be the one. In fact, that's why they call it the bar. You're supposed to set the bar high. You understand? And these lawyers,
and you don't think they are.
Oh, I know. They're just not. The bar is non-existent. In fact, the attorney that actually runs the Bar Association, Noel's Knight, has told me personally that the bar is a non-functioning organization in Dominica. We do not have a bar in Dominica.
Why would you say that, though?
Well, because there's no power associated with it. In fact, if the bar had to reprimand somebody, the only thing the bar in Dominica could do is send a letter to them and said, please be on your best behavior. They could do nothing else. They couldn't sanction this person. They couldn't make the person lose their license. They cannot take any legal action. And hence the association that we have with this, I don't want to say a boys club, but the club, the attorney club, everybody protects everybody. Nobody wants to go against anybody because they feel like this is ill-suited to go against your fellow man. It's amazing.
In the U.S., one lawyer would grab it up, grab the opportunity.
That would happen in a heartbeat. And simply because it's a clear judgment. I mean, you go against the rules, you are disciplined by the Bar Association, you're disciplined by your peers. Not only that, Matt, here it is in Dominica, we do not have reverence for our peers. In fact, if your peer is doing something wrong, more than likely, if you tell them what it is, they would ask you to join, you would ask them to join in. So it's a club that, hey, how can we do better together rather than how can we make sure we do better? And this is not in the interest of the Dominican people, because if you have a country that has no legal platform where things are not done in an orderly fashion, how can you expect that country to move forward? How can you expect investors to come in and feel protected that their money is safe? Or if something does go wrong, how can you expect justice for it? And I'm going to tell you, Matt, it's so sad that this profession is this way. And I myself, I've been dealing with a case for a little while. I'm going to tell you, it has been the
Have you,
most difficult thing to deal with.
have you given up though?
No, no, no. I won't give up. I'm going to tell you, there is no giving up. Justice will be served when necessary. It will be served. I am going to tell you, there's no giving up. There's wrong that has been done, and the universe has a way of correcting itself. It has to be balanced. Matt,
Somebody might tell you, Andy, you know how Dominicans think. You have to forgive and forget.
but I'm not Dominican 100%. That's the problem. I was born here, I was raised here, but I do not understand how this country operates. And I'm going to tell you, Matt, I'm going to put the other pin in it. I think our police force,
Yes.
our financial unit, which is what FSU that we have here,
FIU, yes.
FIU,
Mhm.
our financial ministers, our tax, which we have the inland
Inland
revenue
revenue, yeah.
here. We don't have the IRS. These people should be looking at that. You have tax evasion, you have financial fraud taking place, then you have money laundering, you have wiring of people's assets. I mean, how many crimes we can count 6 or 7 crimes on the table that I have experienced. And I'm going to tell you, not one of these services.
How many years are we talking about it? You've been going through this program.
I've been going through this process for 3.5 years now. We gave
and nobody did anything for you?
we gave Kondwani Williams a contract to transfer a property that we purchased.
I want to go back to the story, Andy.
Yes.
Where did that start? Where did that start?
I think it started very simple. We purchased a property, simple, which is, I mean, Matt, people purchase properties every day. The contracts were given to Kondwani by Jolly's Pharmacy to go ahead and make sure that these were legally transferred into Jolly's Pharmacy's name. Literally, there was a call made and an invoice sent across saying everything is ready to be taken care of. We sent in the funds to take care of everything, meaning attorney fees, transfer property monies, as well as the cost to pay to the vendor for transferring that property or giving us the property title on that property.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, it's been 3.5 years now. April 2022. We are now.
You have the dates in mind?
We are very clear dates. In fact, I've submitted all the paperwork to the police once, and then I've submitted all the paperwork to our attorneys twice, and I've gone through them in detail. You can see all the transfers that were done. However, Matt, since then, we have since lost the deposit that was put down on the property. We have since lost the property that we were dealing with in Kondwani, and there's been no return of the investment money as of yet, a total in $1.5 million. Now, again, this is not the first time this attorney has done this. This is probably, I would say, the 6th or 7th time that I've heard of a case involving ways. But Matt, nobody is stepping up to the plate and putting a stop to this. And you know what, Matt? I've personally taken it as an oath to make sure I put a stop to it, because this needs to stop. The poor people of Dominica should not be taken advantage of by their own people or by their own attorneys. Attorneys need to be responsible for people's funds. Attorneys need to set the highest standard. This is a profession that is a legal profession that should be held to the highest standard in Dominica.
Mm-hmm.
But yet it is being deteriorated by bad attorneys doing bad things to people. And the attorneys know. I'm going to tell you that, Matt. I mean, we've sat down with Joshua a couple of times. We've sat down with her. The attorneys know what they're doing is wrong. They've admitted to what they're doing is wrong. But yet, nobody has stepped up to the plate to say this needs to change. Everybody knows it's wrong, Matt, but nobody's willing to make the correction. And we have too many things that happens in Dominica which are very similar to this, and everybody's watching it happen and saying, why did it happen to me?
Is there a lawyer taking up your case at this
There is a lawyer taking up the case, a good one at that. And we're going to make sure that it sticks. It's going to be a fight doing it. And I think this attorney has told me in confidence that there are several other cases like mine that are coming down the pipeline, because they are actually happy that we have brought awareness to this problem. Because, Matt,
They're happy?
they're happy. You know why? First of all, this has been happening to people before me. I'm not the first.
And they stay in mute.
But people have stayed mute, or the investors which were taken advantage of from overseas, they ran away. They were like, I don't want to be in Dominica. This is not a safe environment. When you get abused, you turn and you run away from your abuser. Sometimes some people stay and fight. And sometimes there really is no justice, because sometimes the fight will beat you up. But I'm going to tell you, many people have run away from the fighting. People have lost their land. People have lost their money. People have lost their dignity with Kondwani Williams, and they have turned the other way. And nobody, as of now, has ever made a stand. Well, today, Andy decided he's making a stand.
Hello, talk to me. Yes, sorry about that. Somebody was trying to call in, but you feel free to participate in the conversation, because I just find it very funny there, and I've been getting a lot of complaints. Somebody just
Tremendous amount of
called me
complaints
from London that said that they actually bought a property over close to $500,000, and the attorney gave them just a fraction of that.
Well, Matt, that can happen, because here's the thing. Keep in mind, the attorney is the one that you have engaged in doing business for you. There's no reason not to trust an attorney. This is done all over the world, all over the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
I have bought several properties myself, and I've dealt with several attorneys. But here's the thing, Matt. This is something that all over the world, somebody says, can you go to an attorney to get a document signed? Can you go to an attorney to transfer your papers? Can you go to an attorney to do a will for your mother? Or can you go to an attorney to handle this legal situation? This is something that's expected. But here in Dominica, we have several attorneys that are not up to the bar.
Let's take a phone call. Hello, yes. Are you there, caller?
Yes, Matt, good afternoon. You're Mr. George. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, yes.
Yes, I had that similar problem what Mr. George is talking about. I suffered for 8 long years. When I couldn't take it again, Matt, a friend of mine said to me, go to the Caribbean Court of Justice, and I got my $8,000 back, and I was okay. Now, I have a second problem where I did a contract with my better half, and then she's supposed to give me $183,000 one way and another $183,000 another way. Now she said to me, go to her lawyer. When I want a copy of the contract, I go to the lawyer, and Mark, all those lawyers in Dominica, 90% of them, they connected like the volcano. They covering for each other. Mark, 3 years I walking up and down like a stray dog for my rights. That's why this year when I sing in my song, I coming out like the volcano, because I want what is mine. And Dominicans, there are some Dominicans.
So you're saying you're going to all lawyers and they're rejecting your case? That's what you're saying?
No. I said I had gone to a first one. I had a problem for purchasing a house. That person had took my money, but at the last end I got my money back, and I pay for the house. Now I gave another lawyer to register the house. So he said to me, "Oh, in case you register the house, you build the house, you refurbish the house before you register it, you'll pay too much money." So I gave him the money, and it took me 8 years before I get my money back. Through the Caribbean Court of Justice, I got it, praise God. Now I have another problem. I did a contract with my better half, my ex-girlfriend, and then I supposed to get $183,000 from Erica to know, and then her people and them. You see, I don't know if it's because I'm black. When you're black, people don't even respect you or regard you. Because she's white, everybody's supporting her, but they don't know. I am going to go back to the Caribbean Court of Justice to get justice, because too much matter I suffered. And the last time I ended up hospital was because of that, They keep lying about me, and they have her look, because she white and I black. They're making her look like a sin, but they're not speaking the truth. Anyways, I can't talk too much. I have to come now.
All right, thank you very much. Don't get sick again. Okay, let's take a voice note there. Are you there? Yes? Uh-huh.
Good afternoon, Matt. This is so true. Mr. Jolly is speaking truth, Matt. Matt, up to this day, my daughter is 20 years, and her father has been fighting a lawyer in Dominica for a property for more than 17 years, more than 18 years, Matt, because the lawyer represented him. He paid all his transfer fees and everything for the property. And the lawyer went and represented another family member, and he himself put a caveat on that land. And so the person in question doesn't have the property, doesn't have the land, doesn't have the money. He has lost quite a significant amount of money. When he went on the land, the family member who placed the caveat on the land took a gun to him, and he had to run out of that property. Matt, the lawyer who did that has been in the spotlight for many, many years, Matt, but nothing is being done about that lawyer. Gon Emmanuel tried. He has since perished, and this lawyer is still at large, taking people money and not doing the work, and having people lost money, property, and everything else, Matt. Matt, the lawyers in Dominica need to stop it. If it was a political issue, we would bring it to light. You see so much blows Earl Williams get, and it have lawyers that do 10 times worse than Earl Williams ever did. I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm just saying that there are lawyers, because of their political affiliation, Matt, they're getting away with murder in Dominica on poor people, especially if you are a foreigner, Matt. Matt, your money is gone. Good afternoon.
Somebody says it's called law and ethics. We all took that class in law school. That's a lawyer talking to me. They are all feeding from the same trough. I told you that a couple of years ago. These lawyers, corrupt lawyers. But I don't know if it's fair, Andy, to paint a broad brush, though, over all these lawyers in Dominica. What you say? Yes?
Well, Matt, I'm going to tell you, it's probably not fair, but the problem is, Matt, how do you scrutinize and tell the good ones from the bad ones? How do you do that? I mean, the only way you can do that is by experience. But Matt, since there is no policing of the lawyers, you believe that everyone that you walk into is a good lawyer until such time that you hand over
So Peter paying for Paul.
For Peter is paying for Paul. So I'm not saying that all the lawyers are bad. And like you said, about 80% of them are not above bar. And I'm going to tell you, are you right? Maybe. I'm going to tell you, by far, we have about what? How many lawyers in Dominica? 25, 30 lawyers in Dominica.
A little more.
A little more probably. I probably know 2 good lawyers. So my numbers and my estimates are probably, not on par, but I do a lot of legal work. And I can tell you, I've run into 2 or 3 good lawyers in Dominica. The rest of them, there's a lot of self-interest. There's a lot of uncouth, unethical behavior that's going on. And that needs to be looked into. And the question is, who is in charge of these attorneys? Nobody in Dominica can tell me who's in charge of attorneys. In fact, you could come to Dominica as an attorney, do whatever you want, get away with it. And you know what I found out, Matt? Even the police are afraid to prosecute. You know why? Because the attorneys are representing themselves and they can work for free.
Really?
Attorneys can work for free. That's their profession. So if the police came up against you, you know all the tricks to get in and out of the system, or you know everything that can get you off. So the police don't want to come up against you, because guess what? I mean, who wants to go up against somebody and spend years and months going? So the police themselves put themselves in a receded position. And here you have, Matt, that law and order, which is the police, are afraid of the legal profession in Dominica. I have never seen this happen before. Usually, lawyers are afraid of the police. In Dominica, the police are actually afraid of the attorneys.
Somebody saying, Matt, can you ask the callers to call their names of the corrupt lawyers so people can steal?
Oh, so we can start a list? It would not be funny, Matt, if we started a list. No, we can put Kondwani Williams on the top and keep going down.
We have to be very careful. If you don't have the facts, you can be You can be brought to.
Oh, yeah, I think you can be brought to justice, Matt, but it's
Yes.
really hard to be brought to justice by some of what these people have done.
At least Andy can provide the facts.
Oh, yes. And not only that, I have personal experience. I can tell you this is a lot of the people that are calling, though, I think they are right on. They're not just calling a name that they heard before or something that their friend told them. I mean, these are people calling with personal first-hand experience. And I'm going to tell you, Matt, after you've been taken advantage of by an attorney, it's like being raped. You remember every second of it because these people are lying to you. They get caught in the lies. They're taking money from you. It's like people don't understand. You were literally raped. So you're thinking of it step by step. Your money was taken out of you. So we have to understand that people need a way to find justice in the system. Attorneys have taken advantage of people for so long. There's no way that we as a population can allow this to continue. Because guess what? It will kill our society. The legal profession is a fundamental part of our society. If I have to sell a house today, Matt, I cannot sell a house without using an attorney. If I have to buy a house, I cannot buy a house without using an attorney. If I have to do a transaction with the bank, I cannot do the transaction without an attorney. If I have to write a will, I have to do that with an attorney. So here it is that the attorney is a fundamental backbone. If I get convicted of a crime, I'm going to need an attorney. Are you telling me that there are attorneys in Dominica I cannot trust? So if I'm innocent, who do I trust? Who comes to my aid first? Not only that, Matt, here's the bad thing about the legal profession in Dominica that a lot of people don't understand. Most of the lawyers in Dominica don't specialize. And why do I see this as a problem? Matt, the same lawyer that will take you out in court if you kill a man is the same lawyer that wants to transfer the title of your property for you, for your house. How is that possible? No, if you're a criminal attorney, you should be a criminal attorney. If you're a land attorney or if you're a public defense attorney, you should be that. If you're an attorney who takes care of minors, you should. But
I think it's all
jumbled up.
I think the defense to that is, they don't get work all the time.
Yeah, but they don't specialize in it. They don't read up on it. The guy who's transferring the land and who wants to take you out of jail is just doing like a side job. It's not like he knows what he's doing. He's just doing his very best. So therefore, you don't get the best attorney. I cannot tell you one attorney in Dominica that has a specialty under their belt. And if somebody knows one, feel free to call in the show. I'm going to tell you. This is at the disadvantage. So Matt says, hey, Andy, here's the thing. My mother wants to leave me a piece of land. And you say, oh, yeah, go and check my attorney. Well, you can't walk in and say, sir, well, what are your qualifications? What makes you a good attorney to be able to read Matt's mother's will? What makes you a good attorney to be able to trust to transfer Matt's title from his mother to Matt seamlessly? There's no book that says this is the best attorney for that. I can tell you, Matt, this is a problem. And this is why so many people are being taken advantage of. And Matt, you know what? The next thing is every attorney wants to be involved in CBI. Why is that? Why does every attorney want to be involved in money coming into the country from foreign banks?
They're looking for favors. They're looking for favors. Most lawyers won't take up a case against government because they're looking for a case from the government. That's basically what
exactly.
They're looking for something,
from the government.
From the government.
Well, why?
So they won't take on the government.
So Matt, is that a fair system?
No, it's not fair.
It can't be a fair system.
Not fair.
So therefore, if you want to be a successful lawyer in Dominica, you must work with the government. Is that what we're saying here? If you want, not only that, when you get in trouble as an attorney, the first person that you're running to is the government. Because guess what? The government can call the police and have the police stand down. The government can call so-and-so and say, hey, can you help out this one? Is this what we're doing? We're doing pyramid and Ponzi schemes in Dominica, man. Is this what we want our children to inherit? I mean, what are we doing here? Should we look at this and make good decisions going forward?
Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Oh, sorry about that. We missed that call. Are you there, caller? Yes? Caller.
Good afternoon to you, man.
Good,
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Are you hearing me?
Are you hearing you loud and clear? Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. You remember in the early 70s, as you say, I was a child at that time, on the north of the island, there was a certain lawyer whom I understood who killed a certain man who killed a lawyer on his estate for trying to reveal his estate. Are you aware of that, Jolly? You and Matt?
I heard that story, but I can't say I know that person personally. I heard of that story. There's one person who actually something about the person gave a coconut to that lawyer and he took off his neck. That was a real story there. Yes, I heard about that many years ago. Well, have we gone to that stage just yet? Hello, yes,
Hey, Mr. Peltier, blessings to you, sir.
Blessings to you, blessings.
Is that the same Andy Jolly, Matt, or another one?
That's the same Andy Jolly. Blessings. How are you doing?
Blessings to you, sir. And I want to emphasize with you. You there with me, Mr. Peltier?
Yeah, I'm right there.
All right. You had a caller who engaged you this morning pertaining to do with all the madness that is happening in Dominica about a particular judge and lawyers and all of that. So you see, you have Doc right on the ball, and I want to give Doc thanks for his courage. Because Matt, no wonder man say no law, no constitution, because they understand how corrupt the whole thing is. It's a cesspool. It's a whole, in Greece, I think the word system means a sewage, a cesspool, and all of that. So even with the Bar Association in Dominica, could it be it is buying everything now? Is there fences built to protect each other, like the boys' club or the mob? And Doc can fight and talk. But what about you or me, Matt? That will go through a system like that. Matt, are you still there with me?
I'm right here with you, sir. Go ahead.
I'm using another phone, Matt. I hope they don't get that phone and start sabotaging. So, Matt, I am saying Doc can come out and talk. Doc can take the best of lawyer and maybe defend him. But, Matt, what about vigilante justice when poor people figure out they were wronged and then they figure out, boss, I don't have money? Could it be them lawyers themselves not realizing that they're risking their lives, Matt? You see the last thing in Silver Lake? Man comes saying police, and what happened to the young man, Matt?
Yep.
So it is so damn sad, Matt. It's a whole corrupt system from the police, politicians, lawyers, priests, pastors, Matt. Who can you trust when you're being wronged? Everybody's going to seek vigilante justice, and everybody has believed this because you have an administration that is Dominican Little Party. No matter what amount of crimes and corruption, nobody's talking. And they want blessings and blue and want to people to call and think we can solve the country's problem. That is just a matter of time. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, blessings. On the telephone. Hello, talk to me. Huh?
Hello?
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, Matt, I just heard Mr. Jolly spoke about lawyers not being qualified in specific fields. Yeah, sorry. May I ask him to find out about Mr. Bernard Packard? He's the only qualified accountant lawyer, and he's one of few from America. In about 3,000, 4,000 of those lawyers, he's one. So sometimes somebody else can know something about something you do not know. Mr. Bernard Packard is one such lawyer, an accountant lawyer.
All right. Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
So Matt, I there's probably one out there, but here's the thing. I want people to understand sometimes when I talk, it's not that I'm saying there's none available. What I'm saying is that, yes, you
a few.
Yeah, but how many? This should be standard operating procedure and standard practice, Matt. You have to understand, if you are in the legal system, you should state your claim as to exactly what you are good or what is your profession. And Matt Blessings talked a little bit earlier, and he talked about the Bar Association, probably collaborating with. I'm going to tell Blessings, I don't want to believe that, because that is probably not true. based on what my experience has been. In fact, Matt, I'm going to tell you, the Bar Association has agreed with all the findings that I am bringing to the table here today because they have seen this over and over again. The problem with the Bar Association in Dominica is that they don't have any power, and they're powerless to help.
Oh, they don't have the balls.
No, I don't think it's the balls. They do not have any power. Legally, the Bar Association has zero power in Dominica. And Matt, the next caller said, hey, somebody shot somebody sometime. Listen, Matt, go back for the last 4 years in St. Lucia. People have been shot, killed, buried because of this. This is not a practice that is good for attorneys to take over. Dominica does not need this on their record. This is one of the barriers to investors coming in Dominica. The first place an investor will reach is to a lawyer.
As a matter of fact, I was just talking to an investor. That's what he wants somebody to call somebody's name that's a corrupt lawyer.
Yeah, I would base. You know what? If people want to call in, and I did. I called my corrupt lawyer. I put Kondwani Williams on the list first. So anybody who wants to follow in with their experience, they're welcome to call in. This is a free show. I don't know if you gave out the numbers yet, Matt.
You have to be very careful with that though, because sometimes you Andy have the facts at your fingertips.
Matt, I'm pretty sure our callers have the facts too. Because here's the thing: these are people, as I said, speaking from personal. This is something you remember, Matt. If somebody takes your money away from you legally, you will remember it. When you give an attorney something to do, you form a contract. You have exchanged goods for services. Most attorneys actually want money up front. You expect that person to go ahead and give you the satisfaction that you deserve. And if that is not met, Matt, there should be consequences. If somebody can call us today and tell me what are the consequences for any lawyer, or is there any lawyer in Dominica who has ever faced any consequences for wrongdoing, I would like to know. This is not right. Our people, 50,000 people, should not be subject to these animals.
You call them animals?
But they are animals. In fact, they're blood-sucking creatures. Because guess what? They are taking your hard-earned money from your pocket legally. Legally, Matt, they are in disguise offering to help you do something, but yet taking advantage of you. These are the same people who would take advantage of children. These are the same people who would take advantage of the elderly. These are the same people who would take advantage of anybody in a failed capacity. These are animals. That's what they are.
All right. Somebody says, Matt, there are a few trustworthy lawyers in Dominica. One of those lawyers, and he goes on to explain, is Gina Abraham. She's a very honest, fair, and very knowledgeable person. I use her for all my legal work. That's what's that? Hello?
That's going to be one out of how many callers? We're taking names. Look, it's easy to say that this person has done right by you, but the question is, how many other people have they done wrong by? And I'm not saying Gina is not a good attorney. By all means, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying we need something where we can register complaints against people. We need somebody who can keep the bar up. No pun intended. The bar needs to be set higher. Right now, Matt, if you have 10 people who call in here that say that they trust lawyers, I would be impressed, because very few of us have not really had great interactions with attorneys in Dominica.
The break will come right back.
Food, check. Water, at least 1 gallon a day. Flashlights, batteries, chargers, you bet. Don't forget the stuff that matters most: meds, IDs, cash, comfort items, and yes, lots of snacks. This hurricane tip is brought to you by ISA Trading Limited. We are making a difference for you.
Somebody book me on a big crayon. Mouvement Créole à Soukir. Tout le monde créole pour attention. Comité pour études créole Dominique. Et puis Radio Q95 qui présenté Mouvement Créole. Tous les mardis soirs, 6 après-midi. Information, blague, interview, histoire, problème, discussion, reportage, apprendre à parler et puis écrit créole. Lien avec ton peuple créole. Bon musique créole, mouvement créole. À nous faire un rendez-vous, messieurs, mesdames, tous les mardis soirs. QFM qui est frappé avec bon power créole. Sans ça participer, qui est nous rapidement là. Mouvement créole à seconde station QFM. Boissez avec nous tous les mardis soirs 6h pour Mouvement créole. Matchez ça.
Dial it now. 612-12 free. That's Mega. You can rely on Mega for some real deals on name brand clothing and electronics. High quality, low price. We are a wholesale and retail store located in Calabishi, right on the main road. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram at Mega Deals Dominica. Like our page. Check out our stuff. Call us. Visit us. Would appreciate that. Come try it on. Love it. Buy it at Mega Deals. Your one and only online and brick and mortar store. Mega Deals is also on wheels. We make it convenient for your shopping. We deliver straight to your door. Email us at info@megadealsda.com. Rely on Mega Deals for some real deals.
Yes, boy. Yes. A lot of people are trying to call in with their stories, but please try to call on air. Try not to get yourself in trouble there.
Give her the numbers. We might want to give her the numbers.
4493095.
Well, you know, Matt,
9697. Yes,
one of the reasons that people don't make complaints is because all these attorneys always threaten to sue everybody.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. Does that ever happen to you? Because I know you are a public figure.
It has happened on a few occasions.
So, yeah, that people, where you bring out a story or an accusation and you're not allowed to discuss it freely because they feel that there's some defamation of character going.
That's always a threat.
More than likely, it's because they're guilty anyway, right?
As I said, if you want to sue, you can sue, but the facts is before
you. The facts are before you. The facts are the facts, you know? And I'll tell anybody who wants to see the facts, you know what I should do, Matt? I'm actually thinking about opening an online portal and put all the facts on there, to scan all the documents and put them on an online portal so every Dominican can take a look at what is presented from this gentleman online. And you know, Matt, I was doing some research myself. And, you know, Mr. Williams' website is still up. Here he is still up attracting people, but nobody pulls it down. And I did a little research myself to find out exactly how he's attracting people. And again, the legal profession, Matt, needs to see this. Because how he really is attracting people, most attorneys have a standard fee for transfer, which is determined by law. So let's say that fee is, we're going to call it 2.5% of the figure. What he's been doing to so many people to get them through the door, Matt, is actually reducing his fees to make the offer more attractive, or letting people know that, let's say the attorney says, hey, this is our standard fee. This is what he's actually making his more attractive, so he gets you in the door. And once they get you in the door, it's kind of like
you're trapped
in the Roach Motel. Once you get in, you don't get out. You don't get your money out. It's more like it. So literally, Kondwani Williams is running a Roach Motel where he's literally capturing everybody in there, taking your money, and then you just never see the money again. And for everybody who's been wondering about his behavior, if you've gone up by his office, Matt, you've seen the office closed and he's not available via cell phone. You're not able to reach him. He's not in his office. And which attorney would literally abandon their clients? Who does that? Who hides from their clients? You cannot be a real attorney. And here we are in Dominica still allowing him to pull people off the internet and embezzle their funds.
Here's a bank manager. Here's a bank manager talking to me at this time. Matt, Jolly is right. I saw it when I was at both banks. They are expected to maintain a client account, but they commingle these accounts which violates both accounting and legal practices. This is a lawyer, and this is a former bank manager. He says, "Call me if you can." I may make an attempt to call him. So a lot of quote unquote, excuse my language, bullshit is going on there. Hello, talk to me, yes? Lawyers,
Yes, Matt,
you've been
good
exposed
afternoon
at
to
this
you.
time. Yes,
Yes, Matt, good afternoon to you and your listeners.
Good
And good
afternoon to you.
afternoon good
Mr.
afternoon
Jolly.
to Mr. Jolly.
Yes, yes.
Matt, my mother passed in 2012, and my father passed 4 years later. We found out that my father left everything to his wife, but then a lawyer in Dominica figured that he should take $12,000 from us, to probate the will. The fact that my mother is dead, the will should not have been probated. You understand? But he took $12,000 from us to probate a will that should not have been probated because my mother died way before my father. And I do not have the largest financially that Mr. Jolly's have, so I can't call anybody's name. Good afternoon.
And that's sometimes the problem, man. You don't have the money to follow up.
Well, Matt, that's the problem. And a lot of people are living in fear of these people. Like I said, they're like parasites here. This is parasitic behavior. This is worse than a tapeworm. These people are literally attaching themselves, Matt. And you know what's bad?
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I found out with dealing with the present lawyer that I'm dealing with right now. This person was actually taking other people's property and transferring it to other family members of his. Isn't that shocking? So basically, here you're thinking, okay, my mother left me some land. I'm going to inherit this land. But Matt, the land is not under your name. And the money or the land is being secured for other things for that attorney. So here's the attorney in good faith saying, I should transfer it to Matt Peltier, but instead they're transferring it to themselves and using it as assets for banks. So the banks are being cheated as well. So here's another thing that the financial institutions should to look at. Matt, what good is this FSU that we have? What are they doing? Are you kidding me? If anything was clearer than attorneys commingling accounts or defrauding the system, this would be something that FSU could arrest 10 people on today because we have evidence to show.
Somebody saying, Matt, you mean to tell me lawyers in Dominic getting away with all these things and still being shielded by the political affiliations, and Dominica not yet turned like Mexico? We are really most peaceful country in the archipelago. But pirates on the flag really didn't know us just, misère that we're experiencing at this time. So yes, a lot of things like that is happening.
Everybody's being defrauded. The banks are being defrauded. Dominica is being defrauded. The people of Dominica being defrauded. The children of Dominica being defrauded. Matt, to tell you the truth, if I had to leave something for a family member today, I don't know if I could find one good Dominican lawyer to trust to say, I want to make sure that when I die, my son is going to inherit this.
I'm going to try to get in touch with the bank manager who said, yes, he really saw these things happening. Okay, let's see if he'll take the call. But 449-3095-96, I'm going to try again. He is maybe on the line.
But Matt, you know what also happens?
Yes.
The banks have no power to do anything about it.
Yes, Mr. Julius Covet, how are you doing, sir?
Matt, I'm well. How are you doing?
Good. I'm happy you of course got involved in this conversation because you manage both banks, meaning the National Bank, and you manage the Aid Bank as well. And you saw a lot of what Mr. Andy Jolly is talking about taking place within these banks.
Mr. Jolly is speaking. That's legitimate. He says everything is being the truth. I've seen that, and the profession dictates that you ought to maintain a client account. And you cannot commingle your funds with the client account. It's both an accounting requirement and a legal profession requirement as well. Repeatedly ask the banks, and I happen to have managed 2 banks in Dominica, so I know what I'm talking about. And Mr. Jollyman, I want to applaud you for what you're doing. It's amazing. If they meet people like you in that country, I'm happy to see that somebody over there talking on behalf of the poor people. These people are being ripped off by these attorneys. And there are so many horror stories. There is a client of mine who lives in England who gave funds to an attorney supposed to transfer the paper, and he moved from one attorney to the another attorney with no for people what is happening in this country. Oh, by the way, while you have me on here, I'm very happy to hear. That the PM is going to do something about the SRO 39 because he damn well knew that was not a good thing to do. And if you recall, a few years ago, a certain senior counsel advised the PM, do you understand what's happening at the Electoral Commission? Madness is going to affect your winning legacy. So how does the Prime Minister don't know what is happening when there's some under his purview? So much nonsense is happening in Dominica. It is annoying.
All right.
It's about time the people rise up.
Okay, Mr. Corbett, thank you. All right, so Andy, you heard a bank manager actually admitting that it happened. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, Matt, we've heard it, and I'm going to tell you, Matt, I've seen it. So I can tell you that I've seen it personally. I personally can tell you exactly where the funds were transferred to. I have the account numbers. I have the transaction.
Out of the jurisdiction, Andy?
No. I can tell you where it was transferred. When we sent the money initially to Mr. Kondwani Williams, I can tell you in which account it was transferred. And it actually was into a personal account. That money was transferred. That money may have been transferred elsewhere. But like I said, Matt, these are things the FSU should be investigating. People should not be allowed to get away with that because, like he said, it is both an accounting problem and a legal. So here it is that they are literally ripping the tax dollars out of Dominica. So if every attorney in Dominica is ripping the tax dollars out from Dominica, then that means that they're getting away with murder. This is why we don't have a country, or we have a country where only some are paying for Dominica. Because they're getting away with this tax evasion. In no other country in the world would this be acceptable. The government would want its tax money because the tax money belongs to the people. It is for the benefit of the people. But literally, here you have somebody like Mr. Williams ripping off the government, ripping off the Dominican people, ripping off Jolly's Pharmacy, ripping off just about everybody else he can, and making a bad name for this country. This nonsense has to stop.
When do you expect it to stop? Are you taking more action in terms of making this stop, Andy? Yes,
we're definitely thinking of taking it to the Caribbean Court of Attorneys. We're doing that as well. I'm spending a lot of money to do this.
The CCJ.
We are going to the CCJ with this. We are taking it out of Dominica, man. I think this is the only way we can get national recognition for what is going on in Dominica. We're going to make a big deal about it. We're going to spend as much money on it. This needs to stop. I'm going to spend my personal money and my personal time to make sure that this stops today. This is gonna be my I gotta die with this on my back.
No forgiving and
forgiving. Matt, forgiving? That went away a long time ago. This attorney has Matt, I'm going to tell you, if I buy a normal property in Dominica, it takes 6 to 8 months to get a title back in my hand and close a property.
Mm-hmm.
This gentleman took up 3.5 years with $1.5 million sitting in his account. It cost me enormous pain and suffering. These are funds that could have been put to work, whether to hire people, whether to do things. The building
Are you saying that
was lost.
He could have made an effort to pay piece by piece?
The deposit, Matt, nobody wants money piece by piece. This deal is over as far as I'm concerned. I want all the money in hand, and it needs to come in soon because guess what? There are going to be consequences, Matt. We may not like them, but this is how life works. There are consequences when you do not keep up your service value.
On the telephone, are you there? Yes, we're here 235. Call, are you there? You're not. Let's move on to the next call. 449, we're missing the calls. Are you there, caller? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. Matt Peltier is me. I spoke to you off the line this morning, yeah?
Yes, sir.
And I gave you my name and whatever, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Now, the people are right. You need to start naming them, my friend. You Dominicans are weak, my friend. You need to start naming. What's the point in telling people that there's corrupt lawyers and you're not naming them, yeah? So I'm going to start, yeah? And you already know my name. And I'm waiting for those I've given the information to dissect the information I've given them. And then you can release my name because I can't wait to release my name, okay? So let's start to name them. Right now, 2025, David Bruni. I engaged David Bruni in 2021, yeah, because I've been attacked. There's been 5 attempts minimum on my life. Before I got the life-changing injuries I have today, I contacted David Bruni. David Bruni made a case, and the case was to be called November 2021. David Bruni never turned up. I went on my own. Judge Pearl Williams adjourned my case indefinitely because I wouldn't take my hat off. Okay? As a Rasta man. To date, that case has never been called. But I got to find out in 2025 that David Bruni...
But won't you agree, though, that it's part of the rule that when you go to the court, like I do, if I'm wearing a shades, that you need to remove your shades, or if you're wearing a hat, you need to remove your hat. This is procedure. Don't you agree with that?
I'm trying to explain to you the problem with you Dominicans, yeah? As a Rasta man, you can't tell me that. My passport has me with headwear. That's an internationally recognized document, my friend. Mm-hmm. Is Dominica not a member of the United Nations? So anything you have to say cancels that out. Because you cannot discriminate against gays.
I'm saying everybody follows the rules. So why should you be the exception?
I'm not going against no rules. I'm following international rules. Anyway, let's just leave that. Let's stay with David Bruni.
Go ahead.
I engaged David Bruni because somebody chopped me in my square on top of my head with a cutlass on my property. It's only because I have locks on my head that I'm alive today. When David Bruni wrote that up as a complaint to the court, he said he wrote it up as threats. Okay? That was in 2021. I was attacked in December 2021, December 2023, and I was left with life-changing injuries. I just about survived. 2 broken arms and an open wound fracture to my left leg. You've never heard about this. The people have never been arrested. They live next door. I see them every day, up to this day. Do you know why this happened? Because 2 corrupt police officers came to my house in 2020 and gave my next door neighbors, crack dealers, my property. You heard what I said. I'm waiting for you to dissect the information. But the problem with David Bruni is not doing what I'm asking him to do. Somebody attempted to take my life by chopping me in my head with a cutlass. Okay? David Bruni writes it down as threats. Okay? My friend, so after I was attacked in December, my court case was in November, 2021. Judge Pearl Williams adjourned it. 3 weeks later, the same people that I had in court are the ones that attacked me and broke my arms and my legs and nearly killed me in the middle of Lally. Handbag ain't saying nothing, is it? Okay? And today, my friend, is the reason why Judge Pearl Williams is not here.
Well, what I'm gonna do, because you're making some allegation that, and of course you call names, so I'm gonna try to get Mr. David Bruni to get his side of the story, and then we'll continue. Okay? Well, let's take another phone call. I need to clarify with Mr. Bruni and get his side of the story, and maybe we could put that in perspective. Hello, talk to me on the telephone. Yes.
Yes, Matt. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you. Yes.
And good afternoon to Mr. Jolly.
Yes.
Mr. Jolly, there are not many people like you in Dominica, frank and fearless. Oh, man. I don't know him, but Matt, this man is there. And I am feeling really happy that you have somebody who can stand up to the system. No, but what I want to say, though, Matt, I do not believe that all the lawyers in Dominica are dishonest lawyers. There are some good ones amongst them, right? Those are Delphi lawyers, and I cannot say anything about them. But one thing, though, I have been hearing long ago that there was supposed to be some act to regularize the
legal profession. Yes. Since 2017?
That has been
Yes.
passed, Matt?
No, no.
What is the latest on that?
No,
What is the latest on that?
no, it has not been passed. Is it not?
Well, that's what they need to do. They need to pass that law, Matt. They need to do that, Matt. Okay?
Thank you very much. Again, the FSU will focus on citizens who have worked legally in Dominica all their life to declare where they get 10,000, while corrupt lawyers and government high ups transfer millions without the declaration of source of funds. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, that is correct. And I think the banks are seeing this now because I think the attorneys have been doing a number on the banks. And I'm going to probably put this out there, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the banks that we lost in Dominica may have attorneys written all over them, because you have to understand, money's coming into Dominica, out of Dominica. These are not regular people doing that. This is pretty much white collar criminal. And these people are flying above the bar. I mean, no pun intended. But here it is that they know the law, they know what they can get away with. And instead of protecting the vulnerable people of Dominica, instead of making those people whole, here we have a group of people preying on the Dominican civilization. These people are preying on innocent or vulnerable people. And you have to ask yourself, why would people do this? Why are they committed to this type of behavior? And Matt, you know what's shocking again? Nobody thinks it's wrong. Everybody, you tell that to some people and they say, well, that's the way it is. You should have known that. And I'm like, no, this is not normal behavior. We cannot run a society that is for legal and law-abiding citizens by doing those things. And Matt, this is why so many people have to take action into their hands. So many people do not trust the police. So many people do not trust the legal government. So many people do not trust the people who are elected or who are in a position to take care of us anymore. So in one sense, Matt, you almost feel like you have to take care of yourself. You are abandoned by the system of law and order. And people are not getting any justice. They're not getting fairness. So they believe the only way to take care of things in Dominica is vigilante justice. This is the only way. This is what the system is showing us. This is what our officials are showing us. This is what our police department is showing us.
Well, have you made the reports you've been given to me, Andy, over the past few weeks about this law? Have you made this report to the police? Yes?
I have made several reports to the police. I'm going to follow up with them in a little while again. But Matt, here's the thing. The police are like, well, this is no big deal. You guys can just settle this amicably. No, somebody broke the law right away, Matt.
What would make you happy right now, Andy?
Well, Matt, I'm going to tell you.
What would make you happy?
What would make me happy would be to see a system that works perfectly. If there's a crime committed, it needs to be taken seriously. I don't care whether it's the rape of a child or somebody broke into Matt's house or somebody stole your cell phone. All these things should be treated as a criminal offense. And where you find a country with law and order, you find people who can elevate and a society that produces good citizens. Right now, Matt, we do not have law and order. Look at how much problems we've had recently. We've had gun violence in Silver Lake. We've had gun violence before the independence that we needed the RSS. How many other Caribbean islands have had to call in the RSS recently, Matt? Can you tell me? Only Dominica. Why are we so special?
No, I think a couple of years, maybe 2 years ago, they were called in St. Lucia.
All right. Yes, there was that incident, that gang violence was out there. Yeah. But guess what? What is that caused over? That's caused over drugs. That's caused over all these other things. We need to maintain law and order. If you have a good country, in fact, Matt, here's what I'm going to bring to you. A lot of people don't like the Donald Trump approach, but I'm going to bring the Donald Trump approach to the table for you today. If we police our system and we get rid of the bad actors, Matt, we don't need as many police. Every day, we are spending money training police officers. We're spending money making sure that we have all this security. Why not just create an environment that's safe? Then we don't need to spend the money. We can conserve the money of the country. We don't need 100 police officers every year if we have law and order. So there, Donald Trump approach.
Hello, talk to me on the telephone. More telephone calls, yes. Oh, sorry about that. The telephones are so busy here. You know, we're just crossing each other. Are you there, caller? Yes, talk to me.
Yes, Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to Mr. George.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
Mr. George, your opening cannot work. Trust me, your opening cannot work. Even to those that are dead, they must be trembling in their grave. Because I can remember a few years ago, I bought 2 pieces of land, and the lawyer did the transactions from the bank for me. When I did check myself, she was owing me $900. And all the way I tell her, I went to the owner of the land that I bought the land from. I said, excuse me, how much money did you get from the lawyer? He showed me his receipt with an exact amount, settlement. I checked it and I see she had a balance of $900 from the bank that I took the loan. And this woman never gave me back my money. All till I tell her about that money. She paid all things. When Earl Williams, they had their problems, Earl Williams, they say, who said, oh, I'm coming back, I'm coming for you, Earl Williams. I said, So Earl Williams are going to the boiling and the campaign, so they're not seeing those lawyers that doing it, those other lawyers that doing it. And now that particular lawyer that made the transaction for me, she's now deceased, and I never got back my $900. So Matt, let me tell you something about a lot of those lawyers. They're just there to grab your money. And if you see you the transaction and you don't have the money to give them, they come and steal your property for the money. That's how they live. Thank you.
Andy, I've known a lot of people who have lost their property because they can't pay back the lawyer. I've known, actually, speaking of my own experience, we have some properties down in the Jubla area, on the top of that area, and some guy just came in and just did what he wanted. He's even selling property. He doesn't have the documents.
Isn't that amazing though?
And he's dealing with a lawyer.
Isn't that amazing? Only in Dominica, because our system allows that kind of misconduct. Our system is not asking.
He's not asking who's the original owner.
Matt, I'm telling you, the things that are going on are preposterous. These attorneys are literally taking advantage of vulnerable people. I'm telling you.
Once you dinkle that carrot, Matt, that money in front of them, they think of anything.
It's the money, Matt. And here it is. I'm telling you, we have attorneys transferring property to other people that don't belong to them. I have never seen this in my life. Here it is that your property that you've established, you've paid a deposit on, and you are working on, now somebody else purchases it from underneath you. There's no ethical structure for this type of behavior. And again, if anybody can call in and tell me who is responsible for the attorney, when we have a complaint, who do we go through for the complaint before it's too late, before something bad happens? Again, who's responsible for this? We need to bring this to light. People have to understand that nobody is above the bar. And we are going to see this in this case, Matt. I'm going to tell you, my case
you're going all the way.
My case will be written down in books for years. It's going to, Kondwani Williams' name is going to stay alive for a very long time as a bad actor, as a bad attorney, and as somebody who has literally abused the system in Dominica, and everybody will know.
If he corrects it, would you say you'll forgive it?
Matt, if
you get a 1.5.
Matt, this gentleman does not have a history of being on the right side of the law. He's not a good act. This is not a good person. This is a praying human being. We cannot let this gentleman be around our sons and daughters of Dominica. This person needs to be vaporized from the earth. They are abusing our people.
That's very strong, though. Vaporize is strong to
Well, Matt, it has to happen. We cannot leave our vulnerable elderly people. We cannot leave our vulnerable children to a character like that. This is bad behavior, Matt.
On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Yeah, just quickly and finally, Matt, that's what I'm saying. You see, the other day it is alleged that the police took gun and cocaine. You hear him saying to all the guns that disappear in the police station, Matt. All these fools, these criminals in high places, have a thing saying when the priests and pastors become corrupt, then the politicians become corrupt, then the police becomes corrupt. Now, those who are charged with the moral, judicial, constitutional, legal, or environmental responsibility, what can they say to the common people? Can Satan correct its subordinates, Matt? And that's why everybody turned criminal. You don't know who to trust in Dominica. And all of them that think, well, don't worry, we are protected by the law. The young people are lawless. They don't know the law. What they know is violence. So when all you think all you will live happily ever after, I'm glad America deporting all you. So even all the children may not be able to go and hide anywhere because they have to come back in the hell, scare it, and all the other criminals in Dominica have created. Where's the FIU? Where's the Financial Investigative Unit, Matt? They are selectively harassing other people investigating, and the criminals in the government, the criminals in the bar association and other places, man, they have enough field today. Well, people will start to take law in their own hand, man, and say, well, I don't have money, I'm not Dr. Jolly, I have to do what I have to do with these lawyers and politicians. Thank you.
It's Kaiso. Yes, the Calypso season is upon us. Saturday, December 13, 2025 at the factory, Valley Road, only $20. 8 o'clock, sitting only $30. Come here, the beginning of the season, and make sure you're there till the end. Many Calypsonians will be competing. Only 12 gladiators will make it. The grand eliminations for the 2026 Calypso season, Saturday, 13 December 2025. Remember, 8 o'clock at the factory. Come here, the funny songs, the serious songs, political songs, everything. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring your dog, and come. Kaiso.
If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums. Belfast Estate Limited, over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and formidable customer service. We present the manufacturers of BB Rum, Soca Rum, Red Cap Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With island-wide distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy Drink, and of course the Sunblast Juices, Toppers Snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill Juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica. If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums. Belfast Estate Limited, over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and formidable customer service. We present the manufacturers of BB Rum, Soca Rum, Red Cap Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With island-wide distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy Drink, and of course the Sunblast Juices, Toppers Snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill Juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica.
Mouvement créole à Soukir. Tout le monde créole pour attention. Comité pour études créole Dominique. Et puis Radio Q95 qui présenté. Mouvement créole. Tous les mardis soirs, 6 après-midi. Information, blague, interview, histoire, proverbe, discussion, reportage, apprendre à parler et puis écrit créole. Lien avec ton peuple créole. Bon musique créole. Mouvement créole. Ça nous fait un rendez-vous, messieurs, mesdames, tous les mardis soirs. QFM Qui frappé avec bon power créole. Sans ça participer, qui est nous rapidement Timamaina? Mouvement créole à seconde station QFM. Branchez avec nous tous les mardis soirs 6h pour Mouvement créole. Matchez ça.
Fais vite souple, moi pressé.
Ça l'aime ici, Mac away.
Eh bien, il s'en a crédit ou pas qu'à bien. Ouais, millimètre là, même côté à moi d'où là.
Là, il est tout l'air. Ek matek away?
Ça veut dire ou besoin aller Optifam vitement avant zio vin plus mauvais.
Dis-moi, Mac. Pas jodi moi ni problème épice de moi.
Eh bien, c'est Optifam qui n'est plus meilleur docteur Zé en pays. À part ça, Optifam j'ai tiré en chai l'argent à ce frame lunette. Et qui ont plus belle frame lunette qui en style.
Tout ça? Eh ben, moi qui check pressure moi avant, et qu'après n'a Optifam.
Non à tout fi. Allez là même, puisqu'il y a qu'à check pressure zéro, examiner zéro pour licence chauffeur, check pour pisadou, et qu'il y a qu'à jic manager maladie zé glaucoma et puis cataracte.
Bon, qui compte Optifam yé?
Optifam à 223 Great Marlborough Street, 2 Point Queens, Amwellville. Téléphone 440-8486. Eh bien, 285-8676.
Bon Dieu, merci oui. Pour Optifam, yo se limo yon pour occupation zero.
Treat yourself, your family, or a loved one to a comprehensive eye examination at Optifam Eye Center to check for 20/20 vision. Also inquire about our telemedicine services, filling of external eyeglasses prescriptions, and specials on eyewear.
Also opened is A Medic Urgent Care and Telemedicine Center, offering specialized and general health care. Call 612-1328 or come in for your appointment. You could also visit our new location.
All right, Dominica, let's go back to the Thursday burning program here in the afternoon. We're we're addressing the issue of the lawyers, the legal profession. And let's go to the retainer. And we hear that word a lot,
Yeah, it's quite popular. There's a couple of things that people need to understand about a lawyer.
Yes.
When you go to a first meeting with any attorney is a consultation. So basically then you go in and you tell the attorney what the issue that you have is or the project that you want them to work on. And then the first thing the attorney will do is say, hey, I would really like a retainer. And that retainer says that what I'm going to do, you're going to give me $5,000 or $4,000, and I'm going to start working on this for you. I'm going to start filing the necessary casework. And at some point, we may need more money or we may need more funds to achieve the outcome. And that retainer is usually an amount that is usually not given back to the person. So a lot of people confuse that because they said, hey, I gave you money and you should give it back to me. The money is usually not given back, man. But what is expected for that money is the service. And that is what is lacking. So a lot of attorneys in Dominica, and again, I can share this with many people. I've had many people reach out to me and said this was the case with Kondwani Williams as well, that the retainer was given to the attorney in the idea that work was going to be done by an attorney or that the process was going to start. However, that money was kept, but nothing at all was done. And then you also have a big thing that should be addressed to, which is deposits. Obviously, if there is a piece of land that you're buying, Matt, in order for you to engage in a contract with somebody, you need a deposit on that piece of land.
They tell you pay 10% of it.
10% usually, 10, 15, 20%. Technically, even in the US, you can give $1 is what is written in the real estate book. If you give somebody $1, you've entered into a contract with them. And you usually do not want to give the person that money directly because you want some form of paper trail. So usually the attorney will ask you to give the deposit to them. And that deposit is supposed to be held in a trust account, usually by the opposite attorney. Matt, a lot of people have had a deal gone bad but that deposit has never been returned. So in this case, it's not the attorney that you're doing the deal with that keeps the money. It's the attorney on the opposite party that literally keeps the money and does not return the money. In the event that that deal or that land deal doesn't go as, for instance, you're buying a piece of land and you found out, shoot, it's on the riverbed and the river comes right through there. You said, hey, guess what? I don't want to buy this anymore. Look, you never told me that the river runs through here. This is not a good piece of property. I would like my money back and I want to go look for something else. That money has never been returned to many people as well. So there's two words that you need to know: deposit and retainer. And this is where it gets tricky, because if those monies are not returned to you, there's really no help for you. You cannot, it would cost more money to hire an attorney to try to get back your money. It is cheaper to just leave that money with the attorney.
I was just speaking to someone who said, man, I give an attorney $400 for a case and nothing was done. And then a couple of months later, I met the attorney outside the court and I said, what is the latest on the case? And the attorney replied, well, you want to sue me now for your money, $400.
Yeah, but you can't sue for $400 because it costs twice as much to hire somebody to go after that attorney. So this is why a lot of times,
in other words, a technicality there.
Exactly, and the lawyers know that. That's the problem. Again, this is why I tell you these are preying animals. These people are animals, man. These are predators of our society to some extent, because they know that and they understand that if you give them a certain amount, you will not waste time and come after them. So, for instance, in my case, it's $1.5 million. Well, in order for me to hire an attorney, take this matter to court, take it to several, it's going to cost me quite a bit of money.
Significant.
So, and I have it, and I don't have a problem with it. So I am going to go after it to the best. In fact, Matt, I am prepared to spend another 1.5 or even 2 million to get back my 1.5. But the news is, Matt, I'm going to get it back one way or the other.
You will get it back. On the telephone, are you there, caller? Yes? Yes. Caller.
When you speak, you must speak with confidence, yeah? Listen to what Andy Jolly said about banks and things that they know about. Well, my case incorporates that the bank manager, Stephen Lander, was fully complicit in the crimes committed in the theft of my mother's money. This is how confidently I can talk. Bank manager Stephen Lander was fully complicit because the documents I have a signatory page that has my name on it, but it's not my handwriting. Because I've never been in First Caribbean Bank. I've never been in First Caribbean Bank in my life to sign documents. When I signed the documents from my mum's account, it was Barclays Bank. And at that time, Barclays Bank used to have little cards where you signed the card and they put it in a box. So you can ask David Bruni and all the rest of them, First Caribbean Bank, how does my signature appear on a First Caribbean Bank document when I've never, ever been in First Caribbean Bank?
I'm understanding. Hold on. I'm understanding his case. I'm saying let's get the other side of the story that we can continue the conversation.
There's definitely something going on here, and that's something that needs to be sat down and explored. But Matt, you know what?
As a matter of fact, this very person said he left a CD on your desk, so you might not explore that.
Matt, here's the thing.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you. This gentleman's probably right. Before I left Seattle,
yes,
my IT guy called me up, and he said, Andy, I had somebody taking care of my dad. My aunt was taking care of my dad. My dad had close to $500,000 in the bank. He was ex-military. He got shot in the head. So he had some issues. He had family members taking care of him. The gentleman had a house with a very small mortgage on it. When he came back to find his dad, and because they called him and said the aunt was sick and the dad is getting sicker, Matt, his dad's house had been refinanced 6 times. And there was no equity in the house all of a sudden. This is a house that there was a very, very small mortgage, a 10% mortgage on, that had been refinanced 6 times to pull out money. His dad's bank account was empty because they had literally forced his dad to sign to say that these people could actually access his bank account. So this is not something that only happens in Dominica. And I'm going to tell people that. The problem in Dominica is that there is no repercussions or there is no access to anybody who can help you take care of these things. Now, he's probably going to get justice for his dad. Most of us are not going to get justice here because the legal system, the political system has failed us by not passing these laws for these attorneys. And we have also failed. And I think the police is here to blame that they have not gotten rid of all these bad characters, that people are being taken advantage over and over and over again. And the same thing is happening over and over again. And Matt, it almost leads me to think that the police are intent on job security because they want cases to come to them. They want to have problems. They want to have people that they need to go find because guess what? They are not taking care of the problems. The problems are being bandaged over and over and over again by our police department. Law and order is not being executed by our court system. Therefore, the only time you hear about something is with vigilante justice or when things get so out of hand that somebody gets in trouble with it. The police should know the best way to solve a problem is that when it is initiated. But our police system doesn't do that. Given good case, Matt, remember the folks who own the hotel up in Scott's Head, Sulphurier.